What's going on, everybody? It's your favorite dating coach, Elliot Scott, and as you can see by the title below, we're going to talk about why you keep on attracting duds, okay? Emotionally unavailable men or men who are playing games, so on and so forth. Now, everything I'm about to tell you, I've been doing this for 10 years, ladies. Everything I'm about to tell you is facts. Please trust me on this. People like to throw shade at this and be like, I don't know about that. I'm not that way, or we're above. I've been doing it for 10 years. I see the patterns. I see a strong correlation with this. You have to understand the average woman who comes to me doesn't come to me and pay me all the money because I'm pricey. I know. She doesn't come to me and say, hey, Elliot, I just want to call you to let you know that everything's going well. No, it's like a police officer. A police officer, when people call him, it's because something's up, right? Something needs to be solved. Same thing with me. When people come to me, ladies are most likely talking to fucking duds, guys who are emotionally unavailable, guys who are playing games. So that's all I see. I see a lot of problems and conflicts, and what I'm about to tell you is why it keeps on happening to you. There is a strong correlation, okay? So the first thing I want to talk about is the sexual market value, your SMV. And what this basically states is, to keep it very, 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 very simple, is your value on the marketplace in terms of what you can offer, what you can ask for compared to your competitors and your suitors, okay? So when your sexual market SMV is a wide gap between the men you're talking to, it doesn't matter who's at top, who's at bottom. But if there's a large gap between the numbers, whether you're a 10 and you're talking to a 5, which I know wouldn't happen, or vice versa, a guy's a 10, and either way, there's a lot of conflict that happens the bigger the number is. And usually the way this works is the following. When someone's the higher number, especially like a man, we'll talk about if the man's the higher number, he starts to play a little more games. Because he's more about resources. He doesn't need to invest them in you because he probably has you, especially if he's the higher number, you're the lower number, or that's what he feels at least. He tends to have more wandering eyes. He tends to feel, did I make the right choice or decision to commit and invest in this girl? He's more likely to cheat, so on and so forth. If the guy is the lower number, what ends up happening? This guy ends up chasing. This guy ends up playing, again, more. He might play more games to close the gap. He might even it could be good things too. He can step up his game, improve himself. He can lie, manipulate, emotionally abuse you. Again, there's both good and bad ways of doing it to close the gaps, okay? So if you're the higher number, the way you close the gap is pretty much by getting rid of them and upgrading. If you're a lower number, the way you close the gap is either through like predatorial ways, like being very emotionally abusive, gaslighting, overly jealous, overly protective, and things like that to close the gap, okay? So there's a reason I'm telling you all this. So when you're talking to an emotionally unavailable man, I want to close the gap. My job is to reduce risk. The whole job of the organism is to survive and reproduce, or survive and find a mate. The longer I survive, logically, don't you think the more I reduce my risk of, meaning like investing in the wrong person or avoiding danger, whatever you want to consider under the umbrella of risk, logically, the longer I will live, the better choices I will make, okay? I could live and try another day. So a man wants to avoid risk is the first thing. Okay, and the way he avoids risk is looking for. Now, here's the thing. Like I said in the beginning, like I see the variables. I see the correlation, the common variables. Right? Is they look for really nice women, and the reason men look for nice women is nice women have a void to fill. They for some reason they have a lower barrier of entry. Now you all might think you don't, but even giving a guy who is a lower number than you the time of day is a lower barrier of entry. So for example, if I'm a 5 and I'm trying to talk to a 10, she's not even gonna say hi to me. That's just how it works. She's not gonna say hi to me. That's her sign, or that's a clear sign of her being like, no, bro, like move along, okay? Sorry. It's not gonna happen. But when you're a nice woman, you tend to have a conversation with the guy. And you ladies will be shocked on how much that's all a man needs to just wiggle his way in there, okay? Women who are really nice and sweet are filling their own voids in some way. So here are some ways you all fill voids, or reasons why you fill voids. You're insecure. You're getting up there in age. Now, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but you all perceive it as a bad thing. You might be like, oh man, I'm on the biological clock. Parents are pressuring me. I'm 50 and I want to settle down, or I'm 35 and I want a kid, stuff like that. You don't have a lot of experience with men. So therefore, if a guy comes along and leaves, you're going to freak out and try to maybe do extra to keep him around because you don't know when another good guy is going to come around. Maybe you don't have a lot of options. These are all ways you're trying to fill the void. So because of these things, you're really nice and you give men too many chances, right? So these women give men too many chances. You're too nice, you're too sweet, you're too caring, you're too kind. Like I said, you're trying to fill a void. Even if you have this high barrier of entry in your mind where you're like, well, I'm not going to sleep with him until the 10th date. It's not about that. You're still wasting your time if you're talking to a guy who is emotionally unavailable, a lower number than you, whatever it is. Like I said, all the guy needs is you just to show him some type of IOI, indicator of interest, such as going on dates with him, and he's going to try to weasel his way back in. Another reason these women fail, or you keep on attracting these same type of dudes, you see the good in people. You're not cynical like me. The reason I'm very good at what I do, and I wasn't always like this, it's just I've been a dating coach for 10 years, and I see the evilness in all of it, unfortunately, meaning like human behavior, it's just good and bad. There are nice types, nice things that give you hope in humanity, but there's also very cynical, selfish things. And these guys take advantage of good women. Why? Because it reduces their risk. If you're a 10 and you're like, get the fuck out of here, dude. A guy doesn't, an emotionally unavailable man who's already a 5, he don't want to hear that. It's going to ruin his ego, right? So they go after naturally nice women who have voids to fill. So if you're an older woman, for example, and you're talking to a younger guy, he's probably taking advantage of this situation. Not saying it can't happen where a younger man marries an older woman, but 9 times out of 10, he's probably 9.9 times out of 10, he's taking advantage of the situation, right? So that's one reason. He likes to reduce risk, and he does that by talking to a specific type of woman. Another thing emotionally unavailable men do is they like to even the playing field. Goes back to what I said down here. These guys are really good. This is how you know you're talking to an emotionally unavailable man, when he just is intense in the beginning. He's intense. Now, why is he intense? When I say evening the playing field, it's not just against you, it's against Prince Charming over here also, right? And if you're a 6 and you want this guy, but this guy's like, girl, I'm a fucking 10. Like, you better step up. Like, you better get something, right? Like, there's going to be a lot of conflict here. But then when this guy who's, again, same number as you pretty much. When I say same number, we usually go up or down 1. So if you're a 6, guys, you're going to talk between guys is like 5 and 7 because we can always kind of move a number or 2. But this guy comes in, the emotionally unavailable man. You don't know that though. He comes in, he's Prince Charming, he's nice, he's sweet, he's caring, he doesn't play games, he's communicative. He tells you what you're looking for or what he's looking for. He tells you what you want to hear. He's nice, consistent, all that type of stuff. You start to have feelings for him, right? You start to have feelings for him. But at the same time, this guy knows how to even the playing field. He knows that to compete with this guy, he doesn't have to take him head on. He just has to convince you that he's the better option. And it's really easy to do that when this guy has multiple options. He's just kind of like, whatever, I'm doing my thing. And this guy's putting forth some effort, right? Hopes that he gets a return from it, right? Another thing, this is a very important thing, is these guys have predator mentalities. When you're talking to an emotionally unavailable man, it's very obvious because when you're talking to a high value man, like this guy over here, it's a 10, he's not going to seek you out. Now, that doesn't mean these guys don't come up and talk to you, at a bar or something. Well, a guy, if he's a 10, he's not going to come up and talk to a 5 or a 6. That's not going to happen. But that doesn't mean a guy who's a 10, which again, by the way, for all you who think you're a 10 or that this guy's a 10, they're not. they're at most probably an 8. A 10 is 1 in 11 million. Okay, that's an actual stat I read somewhere on like a scientific thing. .edu. So if you all know research papers, it's like 1 in 11 million statistically. So you're not running into 10s like you think you are. Just to sum this up, I read that if you are walking down the street and you've seen the most beautiful person you have ever seen in your life, right? And they made you turn your head and you're like, holy shit, that person's an 8 on average, okay? But that's a good way for a guy to kind of like get you, is the predator mentality. He knows. Like Casanova was really good at getting women. If you all know Casanova back in the back in Italy and the 1700s, whatever, 1800s, he was really good at getting women. And the reason he did is because if a woman was with a group of people, right? Let's say this is a group of women, whatever. Like the way herd mentality works is, especially with SMV, is all these guys down here, okay? Oh, these are little guys, whatever. They look like sperm, but whatever. All these guys are going to want her, the number one girl. All guys want her, okay? Maybe one guy might want her or whatever, but Casanova was really good. He saw the girl, again, predator, filling the void type of thing. He saw the girl over here and went after her and told her how beautiful she was and how she's more interesting than this main chick, this 10, right? And he got with her. Men are really good at doing that when they're emotionally unavailable, which kind of goes with the last thing is they're manipulators or gaslighters. Now, not all emotionally unavailable men are manipulators, but all manipulators are emotionally unavailable, if that makes sense. I tell my clients a lot that a guy can be emotionally unavailable and still be a good dude. He can still mean what he says. He can still be authentic, genuine, kind, sweet, caring. And again, he felt the things he's telling you he feels. Like, I really like you. You're awesome. But something in his mind is keeping him from committing, right? There's a roadblock. So that's emotional unavailability. It's when you want a relationship, but you're not able to get into one. Again, all emotionally unavailable men are not manipulators, but all manipulators are probably emotionally unavailable. And they're very good at hooking you with the sweet talk in the beginning, the fast pace, the love bombing. And again, women are going to fall for this. They're going to fall for this. And then when he starts pulling away, again, you're like, what the heck's going on? Okay, because you're trying to fill your own void, whether you know it or not, and now you're chasing him, and that's how he gets this power. So to sum all this up, ladies, if you're a nice girl, a sweet girl, or you're probably a 6, which a majority of you are, I think, what's the percentage? I think an 8 plus, like an 8 and up is like 2% or something like that. Maybe not even that. Like to be an 8 is like 2% of the population. So a lot of you are right here. I always say if you're between 4 and 7, which is 99% of people, sorry, it's not. It's like 95. Then you're probably getting some of this going. Like you're going to naturally attract these type of dudes. It's just your job to find out if that's the guy or not. Now, if you want to learn how to do that, I have a guide down below that teaches you about emotionally unavailable men, how to play the game correctly, yada, yada, yada. But I just want you to know that they naturally go after nice women, caring women, sweet women, women who give guys chances they shouldn't. And when I mean that, I'm not saying you're sleeping with him on the first date. I just mean like you're a really attractive woman, but you're still talking to a guy who's a 5. Now, I know that sounds horrible, but you have to understand, in the animal kingdom, that doesn't happen. I'm not trying to dog on a lion with a limp, right? Or a broken leg. But if I have a broken leg as a lion, and I'm coming up to a lioness, and I'm trying to sweet talk her and get her to mate with me, she's going to be like, fuck, what the fuck? Get the fuck out of here with that limp-ass leg. Get out of here. Like, it's not going to happen. I got my shit torn up. I can't protect her. I can't protect her against other lions or hyenas that are coming after the damn I can't, right? So she's not going to do it. That's just what naturally happens. So with all that being said, ladies, I love you all. Take care and peace.